What is up, beautiful people? Today I am breaking down this weekend's main event, Holly Holm versus Mayra Buena Silva. Big fight card. I'm talking about numbers, lots of fights, not really the quality of the fight card this weekend, unfortunately. So we're going to have to strategize around such a big fight card and a $500 challenge update at the end. So stick around. Let's go. All right, guys, pretty hot in here, so bear with me with my sweat on my forehead and on my armpits. Anyway, starting with the main event here, the very beautiful Holly Holm versus the very beautiful Mayra Buena Silva. I love those lips. Let's start on Holly Holm's side. Positives with her. She has lots of 5-round experience, 6 to be exact, and she's fought these 5 rounds very well. High fight IQ. I really like her decision making in the octagon. She mixes up her grappling / clinch control. She has very good control once she gets into this position. She mixes that up very well with her high volume punching, specifically boxing. I really like watching her boxing on display. Now, as far as her negatives, her cons, she is old AF. She's getting up there, 41 years old to be exact. So that's tough. That's a bit rough there. Hasn't showed her age too much. What I have seen is her being a little more hittable as of recently, as shown by the Caitlin Vieira fight. She did touch her up multiple times. Her last 2 fights haven't been so impressive. One of them being that loss to Caitlin Vieira and a win against Santos that didn't age well because it came to be known that Santos is a pretty crappy fighter, actually. Okay, now on the Mayra Buena Silva side. Aside from being a beautiful woman, she also is very aggressive and comes forward a lot. So that's the pro. And she has very good jiu-jitsu, very sneaky submission upside, which is always very live in women's MMA. As far as her negatives, she has no 5-round experience. She has actually lower fight IQ. I don't know if I would categorize it as absolutely low, but definitely lower than Holly Holm. Her decision making in the octagon is at times questionable. Also, another con of hers is her strength is BJJ, but her takedowns aren't great. She averages less than 1 takedown per 15 minutes. So no matter how great your jiu-jitsu is, if you're not taking it to the ground, then it basically negates your strength. So my pick for this fight is Holly Holm. I expect her fight IQ and 5-round experience just to be too much for Mayra Buena Silva. I expect her to mix in her volume punching with her ground control and clinch control to confuse Mayra Buena Silva, and I expect Holly Holm in a 5-round decision win. Okay, now the question is, how do we use the main event in our Draftkings GPP? Because the main event is the biggest fight, as we all know, in every fight card, also in the tournaments. So the first thing I like to do is to break down the fight card in its entirety. I have a video solely dedicated on how to do that when you're playing Draftkings GPP, so I'll link it to this video. I'm not going to go into it too detailed, but this fight card, large fight card, 14 fights, ITD lines are pretty good. I do not have the Madalena fight yet, as it hasn't been posted in Stochastic. But we do expect the ITD lines to be around at 60%, which is pretty damn good. So we do expect this fight card to score high. What that means is we're going to have a lot of competitors against the main event because we have so many damn fights and so many live underdogs. We have 11 live underdogs in play in this fight card. And what the underdogs give us is flexibility to get to the premium fighters, which would be Elder, Maxim, and Madalena. It gives us opportunity to get to them. Also, it gives us the opportunity to leave salary on the table, and that's also another good way to get different. So how I'm gonna use the main event is I'm not gonna use the main event. I'm gonna fade them as leverage against the rest of the field because I expect Holly Holm to be in the mid to low 30s, and Buena Silva to be in the mid to high 20s. So by fading that fight, you're gonna gain a lot of leverage over the field. So in conclusion, I'm picking Holly Holm to win the fight, but I do like some Mayra Buena Silva in GPPs because number one, the salary. This is going to allow me to get to the premium fighters and to leave salary on the table. So this fight card, I'm going to be playing the salary game heavily here to gain leverage over the field. And also, when we're looking at the fight, Holly Holm, she's 41. We can't that's there's no way to go around that. Father Time is undefeated, right? Also, she is very hittable, and Buena Silva does have that sneaky submission upside. So we've seen Holly Holm rely on the ground game pretty heavily as of late. And if she relies on it too heavily, if she stays down there too long, that submission upside by Buena Silva is very live, so that can be very dangerous. And as we all know in women's MMA, that submission, that flash armbar is very live here. So $500 challenge again. We're gonna start with $500, which started last week. Once I reach $1,000, I'm gonna gift that $500 winnings to one lucky subscriber. All I ask of you is to be a subscriber here. Started off with $500 last week, risked $50, 10% of the bankroll. Only won $8, so netted negative 42, ended with 458. That's to be expected when you're playing GPPs. You are gonna be losing generally because of the variance of DFS, specifically MMA. And then you win a tournament, you hit big, and that makes up for all the smaller losses. That shows the importance of proper bankroll management as well. I am done.